right. Here we go. And it is a fine Wednesday morning. Let's see here. Hey, all right. Ramblin' Days is a new subscriber. We got Trevor Warner's a new subscriber. Kill Switch is a new subscriber. And Christy's a subscriber. Let's see. Stampy Bear, you would come in. We got all kinds of new folks that have been joining up. Ah, I see my wifey waving and the puppies. She got in the stream before anybody got in here, which is great. I'm sure somebody will be along. But either way, we're going to have fun. So, good morning. I'm going to give it a little bit. I know some bears are going to start coming up on in here. Let's see here. Some of you may have had a chance to check out the video already from last night, but I'm gonna angle my chair just a little bit. I'm gonna do one of these numbers, yeah. And then, if my co-hosts want to come check out the window, they're welcome to do that. You know, I might even bring Chunk out here after a bit. But if some of you caught the videos from last night, thanks so much for coming out and seeing the live stream that we did over at Miller Park in Bloomington. That was a lot of fun. The Aristocrats and I were out there tearing it up. You know, I wonder if people can't hear me too well. I'm going to get a microphone and see if we can make that work. Though suddenly I'm beginning to suspect we might not be able to. Tell you what we'll do. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do it like this. Or like this. Hey. We're going to do one of these. That's a better deal. I like that in there. And then we're closer to the mic and everybody can hear us. And if a dog wants to join in, dog's welcome. Well, we've been at it 3 minutes and nobody's here yet. I know this is early. I know it's plenty early. But I'm sure people will be along. So, last night I had the chance to do a little interview with a good friend of mine, Randy Crump, who is the leader of the Aristocrats Swing Big Band. And he's quite a nice guy to invite me to come out and play with them more often. And I'm looking forward to that. It should be a lot of fun. We're going to have some interesting discussion, I think, today. And you know what? I'm probably going to have to send out the bear message. Oh, no. Did I make this private? Better not have. Shouldn't be a private stream. Should be a everybody comes. It's a good thing. Let's see here. no, I'm getting one of those. That's never fun. You gotta be mindful of what you say in these things. Probably shorten this up a little bit. We'll see. Maybe I'll just leave it. The 5-minute pregame show. What I've got to do is get the notifications to pop out so that people can get those well in advance. That's always useful. Hey, all right, we got people. Hang on, I am looking for. Oh, that's so creepy. I'm seeing it on my phone and on the computer at the same time. I'm trying to get the link here. Share that link for the actual stream. Good morning, bears. Taking a slightly different angle. I'm down below here, down in the grass, and it's so nice. And I have the co-host window open, but I think they're all smelling my wife's breakfast. That's a little bit larger of a priority, and as it should be. Oh, hey, Visky. I'm glad you could join us. I'm shaking the computer even. Gosh darn it. Yeah, I'm glad you could hang. I'm going to drop something in Hangouts right quick. Let's see here. All right. Let's see now. Sounds and looks like the start of another beautiful day. That it is. And in fact, let's do one of these numbers. Tilt it up. Oh, well, let's not lose it. I don't know how much of that you can see. I think it's too bright, but there's there's quite a beautiful sky this morning. It's not too cloudy. It's just right. So that's a little awkward motion with my laptop. Let's see here. Yeah, we've had quite a bit of rain ourselves. It was so crazy. That show last night, Bisky, did you? I think you caught some of that, right? I think I saw you in the chat a little bit when I was reviewing some of it, because you were asking for "In the Mood," which we did eventually play. Yeah, I apologize for biffing it right at the beginning. I know that song well too, and I had always forgotten it by name, but I totally jacked up the beginning of that because it was a sight reading gig. I was like, oh, grab this sheet and put it up on there, and here we go. That's the entire gig. No practice, nothing. It's just a matter of hitting the ground running, and that was a lot of fun. Really good training. But yeah, glad you enjoyed that. We had fun playing that one, as well as all the rest. Morning, Jay. Saying hey to one of my neighbors as he's heading out. Just recently moved in, I think, a few months ago. But oh goodness, yeah, like when you do live streams, you know, your whole face is magnified, and then you see things in your face. You're like, oh, it's not good. It's not good at all. But at any rate, that's superficial stuff. It's just life. Oh, goodness. And my good old double chins are hanging out right here. I need to go on the angle. I need to go on that metabolism reset diet like Vet Bear was talking about last night. He had a quick little video. He was just updating us on some things happening at the house. And he's going to get to spend 6 weeks with his kids going hang out at grandma's, and him and the wife just hanging. And that ought to be nice. It'll be an interesting time. And they're going to get some other things done around the place. But yeah, he's gonna He's going to revamp the diet. That's cool, man. I wish him well. Yeah, exactly. Right. Sometimes you need a vacation. And I'm about to do the opposite. I'm about to take my kids and my wife and go down to Texas and spend some time with my folks. And my mom's mom, my mom's sister, my mom's brother. Hey, Mama Bear, good morning. I caught you sleeping last night. Pinderino. Yep. That's his Hispanic name. Pinderino. Yeah, that was pretty darn funny. Oh, it was a fun night last night. I actually got to bed at a semi-decent hour, just around midnight. I wanted to make sure I got some videos uploaded, and it was still funny. I've done that with people, like talking to them on the phone, Mama Bear. We're chatting or something like that, and I pass the heck out, and then I wake up real quick. I'm sorry, did I fall asleep? He's like, yeah, you've been out for the last like 5-10 minutes. Oh, sorry. But it sounds like Boulder was in a deep conversation about some things, so you were good to go. Morning, Steve. How are we doing today? Having a good morning? By the way, this is my makeshift yarmulke. It just goes a lot further around the head. No, I'm kidding. I'm just having the early morning. I want to bend the hair back a little bit. It's all crazy in the morning. I haven't done anything. I haven't brushed it or nothing. But be honest, I'm losing it right here. I know I am. It's happening. Mama Bear had conversation by osmosis. That's great. Yeah, I'm losing it. I'm gonna end up having the what do you call that? Yeah, I should. The Michael Bolton business. I'm just not growing it in the back. So I don't know. I wear it while I can. I've been bald many times. I used to shave it completely bald. They call it the Hero Zero when I was active Army. I used to do that an awful lot. But razors aren't cheap. And so unless you're doing Dollar Shave Club, which I'm not sponsored by, but that'd be an interesting thing to get involved in at some point. I decided to whack that beard yesterday. It's just getting too thick for the summertime. It's enough of that business. But you highly recommend something, a safety razor, and then just buy razor blades, and they're cheap. Huh. Good razors are not cheap. This is true. And I do the cheap things, the picks when I can. But my face almost always bleeds when it's like a 2 or 3 little, bladed cheap razor. Almost every time. Maybe that has something to do with whatever cream I use or something like that. And I used to have some really nice oatmeal-y blended stuff, which was cool. But good shave. It's a good experience. I'd love to at some point go to an actual trained barber who can do the straight razor. But I'd have to really get to know the person and trust them first. I don't want a Sweeney Todd situation going on here. Oh, thank you, Mama. I appreciate that. That'd be wonderful. So I've entitled today Poisionous Ponderings. And what is that all about? Well, I should tell you a short story. So I have had moments in my life where I will get a little caught on thoughts about people or related to people that I know. And I'll be particularly frustrated or upset about the way a particular person's behaved, And I've had plenty of occasions for that to happen. Being a person, I'm pretty sure all of us have experienced being pretty upset with somebody at one time or another. But I woke up from sleep I'm going to say it was night before last. And it was probably about 2, 3 in the morning. And thank you, Mama Bear. Very much appreciate that. Yeah. As Dom would say if he were here today, smash the like button. Yeah, about 3 in the morning, and I just woke up, and I'd been having some sort of dream where I was really angry. And it was about things that are actually going on. I won't get into the details of the situation for the sake of the people. But, yeah, I was feeling pretty upset at those folks. And, you know, I was still thinking about it after I'd woken up. I was like cussing mad, you know, and I get cussing mad occasionally. Usually I'm by myself when that happens. In the car, that can happen, you know, not to the point of road rage, but it's not so much about people on the road. It's just more, that's the time when, you know, I have my thoughts to myself a little more. I can think through situations a little bit and think through things that I kind of wish I would say in the moment, but I'm glad I don't. So they're having really angry, intensely frustrated thoughts and mulling over them, you know, letting them run through your head again and again and again. That's pretty toxic. Being angry, being upset in a moment is not necessarily a bad thing. You have to let those things out. You have to let the valve open on the steam at some point, and you have to have good ways to express that. But sometimes things can stick in there a little bit, and if you allow them to mull over, because there's almost like a therapeutic quality to that, but it's a fake therapeutic, right? It's like it's not actually good for you. And there are times when I feel compelled to do that, and I catch myself. I'm like, this isn't good at all. This is bad, because I know it's physically debilitating to me. It's mentally debilitating. I don't actually feel good. You know, oh, that chat has gone dark. Hey, there we go. Oh, I'm glad, Steve. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. Thanks so much for watching the concert. We'll have another one on looks like July 5th. I'm going to be playing another gig with those guys, and then on July 6th. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I was chatting with my good friend Harold Green, person that has been a great mentor to me, person I've mentioned a number of times. Yeah, man, gave you the wrench last night. I was going through some of my videos and said, hey, I hadn't modded a couple of people, because I like for everybody to have the freedom to speak as they will. And let's be honest, that may change, you know, as this gets really big. Nobody's safe, you know. We may have a wrench in it. Oh, Kirby. Hi, puppy dog. Good morning. Who else is going to co-host? Who's back there? Oh, Geeta's back there, but you can hardly see her face because she's all by. And Chunk is right there in the corner, but there's so much glare you can't really see her. You guys are cracking me up. Hey, we're getting some more folk in here. This is good. This is great. Good morning. I know I start early. I started earlier than I normally do. I usually don't end up getting in here until about quarter till. But yeah, like I was saying, the wrenches, I love you guys to have them. You guys have been with me here since the beginning, the beginning of last week, and or Wednesday, I guess it was, Thursday. But yeah, we'll see what has to happen. I mean, as you have a massive thing, and I predict that this is going to continue to grow. We're going to have more interesting content as we go along. Yeah, there could be a wrenching. Just you wait, but don't mull over it, right? If it's a negative thought for you, that's the whole point of today's thing. Don't let it poison you, thinking about is big drum bear gonna wrench in me? Oh no, you know, it's not worth it. I'm sure none of you are like, oh, but that's funny to do. Savors the wrench. I love it. Oh my gosh, you guys are cracking me up. So, poison thoughts. Let's get back to that topic. Poisonous ponderings. They're just no good for you. And I'm reminded of a verse that comes from a letter that Saul of Tarsus, better known as the Apostle Paul, had written to. Now I'm having to think. Was that the church in Corinth, or was that the church in Rome? I'm going to pull up an app that's a favorite of mine, eSword. And I'm going to have to check with eSword and see what eSword tells me. Yeah, they really don't. It's Corinthians. You're right. I think right. Paul wrote that you should take every thought captive. Every thought captive. I want to say that's 1 Corinthians chapter 12. It could be wrong there. But I'm looking it up now. Captive. No, that's the wrong letter. Captive. Let's just go New Testament. Search. Corinthians. That's interesting. So maybe in this version it doesn't use captive. Huh. But the gist of the verse, I'll find it. Somebody's on that. Yes. Take every thought captive. Bring it into obedience. If you're going to have thoughts that are going to rob you of peace, right? They're going to rob you of clear thinking. You know, I talked the other day about Colonel Grossman, because Steve was mentioning him, that he was going to have a stream with him. Colonel David Grossman, really interesting character. And he talks about stress inoculation in some of his seminars, and how he's trained people in different military units and police units on how to do techniques like that. And they're able to learn how to bring their mind back to a state of low stress so that their prefrontal cortex can do its higher reasoning stuff. Thank you, Mama Bear. Yes. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient. Yes, to Christ. Well put. That's the one I want. It's 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians. That's the one you like. Yeah? Yeah? It's huge. The idea is that you are able to rein in control of your body and your thinking so that it works for you and not the other way around. Because if you're totally stressed out and poisonous, toxic, negative thinking is going to do that to you. Stirring over how angry you are at somebody is going to do that to you. Very easily, you're going to be massively tempted to focus on the stuff that's going to leave you feeling like crud. It takes guided, intentional practice to say, no, I am going to step back in my mind from that thought and look at it from a third-party perspective. And I'm going to say, is that something that's useful to me? I'm going to examine that thought and say, is that something that's fruitful, that's going to be important? Because sometimes angry thoughts are useful. Sometimes anger can lead you to act to correct something that's an injustice. You know, I'm very not happy about Tommy Robinson being in prison. That's wrong. I'm not happy that folks like Steven Crowder have a fatwa on their head. That's bad. That's not cool. You know, I'm upset about that. Of course, I don't let it rob my peace day to day. I'm sure that those guys do their best not to. I'm sure Tommy has his own struggles in that. Dear Lord, I can't even imagine. But I'm sure he has to do things to keep himself sane. You know, to keep himself focused on what's important, to keep his higher reasoning functions working so that he's not caught up in stress all the time. Every day just trying to do something like that. And I think that prayer is probably definitely a huge tool in that. Just last night on my way home from the gig, I talked with my buddy Harold. He and I were chatting about a few different things, and I shared some of this with him, that I had woken up in the middle of the night angry at some people that I care about. Well, more so at their actions. And I was just, blown away that I woke up in the middle of the night and woke to feelings of intense anger. And we prayed about that. And I hadn't done that with him for a while. We used to do stuff like that often when he was back around here. Oh, yeah, thank you, Mama. Absolutely. I'm so glad it's affecting somebody. I was just saying that we sat down, and one of the things that we talked about was, before we prayed, that we had to identify that this was clearly not the way we were intended to have to live. It wasn't the intention that we sit around mulling over thoughts of anger or frustration, and to the point where we're waking up in the middle of the night with anger. That's not good for you, right? I should be sleeping and getting rest so that I can do live streams with you guys. That's the whole point, right? Yeah, so that I can live well, that I can love the people that I'm here to love, right? I can do for them as they need me to serve them. And I'm probably going to be much more debilitated if I don't have rest from being angry. That's unfun. And there's plenty of reasons. I think that's something that needs to be understood. There's plenty of reasons in my own life to be angry at people. I've been through divorce. I've seen unpleasant things. I don't have my kids with me every day. Hey-o, Mr. Dumb. Yeah, you just popped into an interesting conversation here, sir. Just talking about negative thoughts. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome, man. That's the way to do it. I'm fixing to have some coffee here in a minute. Kyle Kavanaugh. I need to find out about Kyle. I've heard you talk about him. I need to get to know this cat. I'll have to find out later on. So before I lose my my train of thought, which, no, I appreciate you saying, Don. That's awesome. So yeah, we're talking about negative thoughts. We're talking about how that poisons you if you dwell on it. And you've got that mandate from 2 Corinthians 10:5 to take every thought captive and bring it to the obedience of Christ. I've had events in my life. Like I said, I've been divorced. My kids aren't even with me every day. So little of the week that I actually get to spend with them. I had been in the military and been deployed 3 years out of a 4-year period. I've seen some nasty things over there at times. Not nearly as nasty as plenty of other people I know, but I've seen my share of odd stuff that I don't think people ought to see if they can help it. I've had my share of different things go on. I've had disagreements with family. I've had times that I've struggled financially. Had health issues that have been struggles. I've had good friends that I've known take their own life in the military. One friend, I'd lost track with him after we both got out. Didn't realize he had ended his own life until 4 years after. 4 years after the fact, we got out of touch for that long. And it was only about a month or so after the last time we talked, and then I come and find out. That was probably one of the worst days I've ever had. That was just an awful day to find out you missed it for 4 years. You know, you've seen him on Facebook. You'd send him messages. You hadn't heard back from him. I didn't have another number to get a hold of him, but kept trying to text him through messenger chat or something and never heard back. I figured maybe he just didn't check his messenger. Finally posted to his actual Facebook one day, and then a friend of his hits me back and says, yeah, Ian died like 4 years ago. He committed suicide. I'm like, wait a minute, what? No. Please tell me that you're joking, you know? Good morning, Honky Bear. Hey, Honky Bear, we need to fix you. You're just, can I do that? I need to fix Honky Bear because Honky Bear's having a problem. Honky Bear is inappropriately unmodded. You get a wrench, and you get a wrench, and you get a wrench. I'm like Oprah with my wrenches. So, yeah, I'm just trying to follow this train of thought. Yeah, I completely forgot where I was at, but that's okay. I was gonna say my wife has had plenty of events in her life as well, where on her side of the family where they've had sad stuff happen. You know, I was just talking with her about it today. I won't go into super detail, you know, but her dad had a whole other family before he married her mom, and that family died in a fire. And he was the only survivor. He managed to get out, but he was trying to go back in and get them out. And he lost 2 children and a wife, you know. And then he'd spent time in the military and watched buddies die in his hands, you know, in pretty gruesome ways. And had some other heartache while my wife and brother-in-law were growing up. It's just tragedy can massively alter your ability to think, right? And especially if it preoccupies your mind, and maybe it's just beyond, you know, reclamation for some people, which I hate to even say. But I you know, I'm thinking about what Owen and Jason were talking about a couple weeks ago. Maybe it wasn't even that long. They were talking about the whole Anthony Bourdain thing, and talking about people that they've known that ended their life, and how tragic that kind of stuff can be. But just having, you know, like I think Owen had said something at one point about, you know, maybe vets, you know, I can't even understand what they've been through, you know, and that was certainly the case for my wife's dad. He had just seen unconscionable things, just horrendous things, and I kind of sometimes use that when I have negative thoughts of my own. You know, this is where another tool comes in: being able to get perspective, right, on the stuff that is happening in your own life that stinks. When you can recognize that other people have had it exponentially worse than you, and you can still have joy in the midst of that, or maybe they had joy in the midst of their sufferings. You know, that's kind of what I mean to say. It's a way to demonstrate to you that you still can too. Or even if they didn't, even if they were much like my wife's dad, you know, and he went through the rest of his life with a ton of sorrow. What can you do? What are you going to do? What choices are you going to make to not let the cycle continue? Remember, I talked in my little big drum bear before dark video the other day, walking through the cemetery in Hartsburg, and I'm talking about my great grandma Bertha Rademacher. She raised 6 kids, 3 boys, 3 girls on her own. Her oldest, my Uncle Walter, was 13 at the time, and with him being the main breadwinner, she raised successfully 6 kids who lived to ripe old ages. I think Uncle Walter lived to be almost 90. Uncle Arnold, he was in his, I want to say 70s. Grandpa Ralph, he passed away in his mid 60s or mid 80s, excuse me. And all the sisters, the three sisters. Aunt Ruth, she just passed away this year, and she was 96. Aunt Rachel, I believe, just recently passed away as well. She was dealing with late stage Alzheimer's. But she was still, into her like late 70s, early 80s, I want to say. And then, my great aunt Josephine is still kicking. She's out there in Kansas, and that's just such a testament to overcoming the tragedies that my great grandma experienced. I think prayer, I think comparison to, well, I should say comparison, perspective on your situation in comparison with the magnitude of somebody else's. And I think, which is a tricky one. You have to be careful with that one, because sometimes people get comparing themselves to others, and maybe there are people that have less bad situations, and they think, well, why does mine have to be so bad? And you can get caught in that trap and go the wrong direction with it, but you have to decide to use that tool as comparing it to people who've had far more horrendous situations than you. Just look back in history a little bit, people 50 years ago probably had a worse situation than you. People 30 years ago, goodness, but there's plenty of people today that have insanely worse situations that could live in your neighborhood and you don't even know it. But I also was thinking that laughter, different situations, memories that you can think on that can benefit you in the moment, to just for a moment change that pattern of thought, to redirect your pattern of thought, because you can't just take negative thoughts and stop thinking them, right? You have to replace them with something, right? You have to take the negative thinking that you're doing and then substitute it with intentionally focused on positive stuff. So I have whenever we would go visit my dad's grandmother on his mom's side, my grandma Bonnie's mom, Evelyn Graham, we'd go to the nursing home down in Mount Pulaski, Illinois. And I believe it was Mount Pulaski. We go over there, and our favorite thing to do was to recount stories. Uncensored Christian, new to the bear community. I've been loving the morning streams. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Uncensored Christian. Let me give you a little gift here, sir, because I would give it with that comment or without. But welcome to Wrench Life, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm going to have to check out what you've got going on. I'll subscribe to your channel. In fact, I might do it right now before I forget. Let's see. Go to channel. I subscribe to almost all y'all now. If you ever have some stuff you put out, I'd love to see it. Not only did I subscribe, I ticked the bell icon. Go subscribe to Uncensored Christian. Let's see if he gets some content up. I'd love it. So let's see here. We go over to Grandma Evelyn's nursing home, and we recant funny stories. And she's sitting there in a nursing home all day. That's priceless to her. And as I've gotten older, it's been priceless to me to recall some of that. We'd have some great things that we'd laugh about. One of my favorites, anytime I'm upset, I think back to this. It's hard to stay upset for long. When we were growing up, we had a brick house, not unlike this. And there's a front window that was a bit smaller window with a screen to it as well. And in the summertime, we just prop it up. It was right above the double sinks, but it was to the other side of the front door. No, wait. Let me see here. Yeah, the image is reversed for me, as you can see. Everything's backwards. So, at any rate, it was to the. It was just to the as you're looking at it, the right-hand side of our front door. I'm doing weird things with my hands in front of my face. That's probably odd. At any rate, the double sinks for the kitchen were right beneath that window. My brother Ben, he's gonna, if he ever sees these streams, he's gonna love that I told this. My brother Ben had decided to have some fun. He's about 3 years younger than me, and I was probably like 5 at the time, 5 or 6. So my dad's working out in the garden, the further back part of this lot where we lived in Sunnyland, little village halfway in between East Peoria and Washington, Illinois. Dad's in the garden. I come out there and I'm soaking wet. I'm dripping with water. And he's like, "What happened?" I say, "Ben, I kind of had a part to play in this. I'll be honest. I kind of encouraged it, but then I went and tattled. It was so bad. I'll be honest." So we come back over to the front of the house. There's water shooting through the screen of the window, right? Just streams of water, big sprays of water coming right through the screen. We walk into the house, and I already knew what was going on because I think I semi-encouraged it because I thought it was hilarious. But there's Ben standing in the double sinks, 1 foot in each sink, right? And he's got the nozzle from the sink there, spraying it out the window. And so he got himself a spank. But honestly, I should have had a spank for that one too, because I think I semi-encouraged it, and I allowed myself to get soaked. I didn't have to stand directly underneath his streams of water, but I did. And I think my dad kind of knew that. I think I don't remember if I got some punishment there too, but I probably got punishment that was undeserved for something else to make up for it. So, but boy, that was it was probably not as funny for Ben, but it is pretty funny because we used to retell that every time we'd go see Grandma Evelyn. And oh wow. Let's see here. Honky Bear, I'm really, really grateful that you just shared that, man. That's awesome. I can't imagine what that must feel like. I can't understand that. I think I've tried to consider it or ponder it. There are times, that's another tool that I was going to bring up, is sometimes thinking about eventualities, thinking about situations that you don't want to think about, so that you've processed them a little bit before they happen. I've processed a few times what it must be like if I ever lost my lovely wife. And that's probably one of the most horrendous things I could imagine, second only to losing one of my children. I really appreciate you sharing that. I'm so grateful that you're finding healing through that, man. That's excellent. I'll tell you what, be sure to keep letting me know how things are going. Yeah, that's awesome. This is why I love to do this. This is super cool because that's real. Man. Right now, see, and this is what I was talking about with perspective. This is the whole concept right now. You just improved perspective for me. Because as often as I might have things that are frustrating and struggling, what things do I have? The old adage, count your blessings. That's so massively important. You look around you. You can't just say, well, I at least I don't have this situation, but I do have this situation. There are positives there. You have to identify them. You have to enumerate them. You need to write them down. Make lists of the positives, right? And that's also, it ties into the whole like substituting the negative for the positive thing. So what am I saying here? Let's recap a couple of these things. You have to choose, right? To take every thought captive. 2 Corinthians 10:5. That's never going to get old to me. Thank you, President Trump. I can say thank you for that, because that is so funny that people went ape crazy over that. Take every thought captive. If it's a negative thought, you capture it, you take a look at it, take a step back and look at that thought and analyze it. Is that worth my time? No. You say, no, I refuse to let myself mull on this. I choose to focus on this instead. And you replace that with the positive thinking, with something that's worthwhile. You pray. You got to pray. And as I'm saying that, I'm realizing that I just don't do that near enough. And that's kind of ungrateful, because that's an amazing thing to have. Wow. Yeah, you need to have, yeah. Honky Bear just broke me up, man. Man, that's good though. I love that. I'm so appreciative of that. Perspective. You have to take a look at your perspective and recognize there are people that have 10 times worse situations than you, exponentially worse situations than you've ever imagined having. You have to laugh. You have to hang on to memories. Dr. Peterson talks about what's the purpose of memory, right? The purpose of a memory is not to just be able to recall things. The purpose of memory, as he suggested, is for you to integrate an experience into your life properly, right? And when you're done integrating an experience, you don't need to hang on to that memory per se. And I think that's largely true. But I think that memories are also useful to help you navigate further forward, especially the happy ones. Hanging on to happy memories, you've integrated those experiences, but they can continue to bring you joy years down the road. So that's something where I think they're serving that purpose of being properly integrated is something that probably takes time. It probably isn't. So it's a time release kind of thing. It doesn't happen all at once. So they're vitally important, and I think it's worthwhile to take some time and recall them every day. You probably heard of people, saying it. Well, I had a thought there, and I'm stepping back from that one. I'm just reading Honky Bear here. You have to. Not only have the perspective that it could have been a lot worse, but you have to have the perspective. You have to have the memories. You have to hang on to those positive memories because they're essential. Form them in your mind very vividly, right? Use your imagination as a canvas and replay those times in your mind to help bring you joy in the moments where you need it. That's a double-edged sword because don't get lost in your memories, right? You got to put a limit on it and say, okay, that was the past, but I do have to move forward. I'm grateful for that. Make it serve its purpose. Don't let it master you. But then you have to enumerate your blessings. You have to count them. Man, Honky Bear, I'm just amazingly so thankful for you sharing that and being in here today. I'm so grateful to be able to get together with you bears, because you guys teach me a ton through your joys and through your pains. Man, Honky Bear stole my words, man. That's so good. And I'm honored. I'm honored to have my word stolen by that. Thank you. Thank you. And bless you, man. That's awesome. That you're continuing to move forward. That's awesome that you have the love of God illuminating your life and not only just giving you alleviation of pain in moments, but teaching you endurance through it, because that is life. I'm telling my kids that every day. Most of what you're going to experience, I tell my students the same thing. Most of what you're going to experience in life, I love you too, Mama Bear. Love you too, Dom. Most of what you're going to experience in life is pain, is suffering. I tell them this. It's going to be unpleasant, right? Get your act together, like Dr. Peterson says, right? It's bear the biggest weight you can bear. And I said that on purpose, pun intended. Bear the biggest weight you can bear. And help others to bear it too. Man. I see that he is going to use me to help someone. I cannot look to tomorrow, only today, and trust him through this day. I think Honky Bear should just do the rest of the stream. I mean, it's like I've got nothing to follow that. But man, I'm going to go through the rest of my day today so much more energized because of sitting down with you guys. And I'm going to be so grateful. Yes, Mere Christianity would be a great book for Owen to read. Lewis's thoughts are so poignant, so appropriate to the condition that we're all in. He's on that road, because he's a big fan of Peterson, even though, Peterson's trying to take him out all the time because he wrote the 13 rules for life. See, and bits like that. I think that's one of the reasons why Owen has to have comedy, because he's talked about so much like horrendousness coming from Oswego in his youth, so many awful things that are in his family's past and that town's past. But then he turns to comedy and it brings joy in life. And you know what? I will never forget when Owen talked about what his brother told him about this tree. And you could see when they had cut this tree back that there were burn marks inside of it. And he said that's where there was a fire here at some point. And the tree just kept growing. And he was broken. Owen was broken at that point. That was probably one of the most memorable moments of any of the streams I've seen of his. Because he can do that, and then he can still carry on and make us laugh. And make himself laugh. He has to, because that's how you survive. You have to change your thought patterns so that they lend to survival. You're going to have pain, but you don't have to stay feeling that way. You can still have joy. Guys, this got way deeper than I expected. This got way more impacting on me than I expected. I'm so grateful to all you guys for coming out here. Thanks so much. I don't want to quit this. I love that I'm doing this now. It's a whole week now. I started last Wednesday with the intro video, and we're here now. We're here. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for getting this subscribership up. We're like in the 30s now in a week. And I can't believe it. I'm almost at 2,000 watch minutes. Like, this is huge, man. This is 1 week. I don't have the sticks, but I have hands, right? I'm going to shake my laptop to death doing it. Yeah. You know what? We're going to get some drumming going on in the stream. Tell you what, I'm going to get the phone charged tomorrow. tomorrow. Stream location. Stream's gonna be funny tomorrow. It's gonna have to be a short one. It's gonna have to be a short, maybe a little drum thing. Maybe I'll take a couple of my pieces out to a park nearby here. But I got a lesson at 8:30, so I'm gonna have to do a half-hour stream or something tomorrow. I'm gonna have to start right at 7:30. Power of bear love. That's gonna be like to the Huey Lewis and the News tune. Power of bear love. Do 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 do. Kill Switch. I could have sworn I gave you a wrench. I intentionally touched you last night to give you a wrench when I was looking back at the video. You got one now. What's up? You got a wrench and you got a wrench. I love y'all. Guys, I have so much fun. This is amazing. Let's keep it going. Let's grow it. Let's get it bigger. And you know what? There's so many things I'd love to be able to do through this stream, things to make happen. And you guys are making it possible. So I love y'all, bears. I'm going to let you go here. Peace to you. And, you know, send me some messages. Send me some private stuff, emails. Email bigdrumbear@gmail.com. And I want to hear, you know, everybody send me an email. If you've got an email, I want to create an email list because eventually there's going to be like a newsletter kind of thing or something for the chat, for the channel, I should say, and different things that we're going to try to do with it. So, yeah, send me your emails. Thank you, Dom. Exactly. bigdrumbear@gmail.com. Send me your email. I want to make sure I'm touching base with all you guys, and I'll keep you up to date. Stream tomorrow. And then Friday's going to be a little weird because we'll be in Texas. So I'll make something happen, though. I just got one from Dom. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. All right, bears. Love you all. I'm going to go read some Bible with my beautiful lady. Love you. Peace to you.